the Global Air Drone Academy. If you've stumbled across this video, it's probably because you've had the great opportunity and advantage of participating in one of our many workshops. Here at Global Air, we use a plethora of drone equipment, but today we are going to be unboxing the remoting do-it-yourself drone, which is great for beginners. Let's get into it. Before you get started on building, let's make sure that you have everything that you need. Inside of your box, you will find your remote controller, your top plate, your bottom plate, your camera holder, your battery, 4 motors, your motherboard, a tool for your propellers, USB charger, a Phillips screwdriver, and hiding underneath all of this are your prop guards. Let's start building. All right, so you're going to start with 3 of the materials that we took out of our box. The first is the bottom plate, the motherboard, and your 4 motors. Before you add your motherboard to your bottom plate, you want to make sure you locate the square that is here. You see that the reds are diagonal from one another and the whites are diagonal from one another. So that's going to play an important role when you put those motors in, because you want the same color motor to match the bottom part of your bottom plate. Just stick that down in there. Sure that I'm putting this other red one on the right side, because again the colors are diagonal from one another. Alright, so now that we have our red motors in, we're going to go and do the same thing with the white. Okay, now that our wires are down in there, I'm just going to flip this over to make sure that the wires are diagonally across from one another. So again, white, white, red, red. Now we can go ahead and secure or snap in or fasten the wires into there. I just assume that. I've never been having before, but. So now that those wires are nicely secured in there, we want to use our Phillips screwdriver that we have and just secure the wires both on all 4 of our motors there under this black little latch. There's a black latch there on each side of the bottom plate. So after all of your wires are secured and tucked in, you want to make sure that you go ahead and secure your motors. So I took the liberty of already pressing one side down for you, and I'm going to do the rest of them. So now that everything is set into place and your wires are tucked in, we're going to grab the top plate and your camera holder, and we're going to connect the two. One of the things that I love to take note of, especially when teaching, are the holes that are in the top plate. The ones on the bottom are closer together and the ones on the top are further away, and they line up perfectly with the bottom of your camera holder. As soon as you connect the two, you're going to hear a nice click, and you know that your camera holder and your top plate are secured. Some people actually just take the two and push them together and hear a click that way. What I like to do is just put one side of the bottom of the camera holder in through the holes, and then go ahead and press the other side in. And you heard it click nicely, which is amazing. That way you know it's nice and secure, which it is. I can hold the camera holder and the top plate is not falling off, so it's nice and secure. So now that we have our top plate and our camera holder secured, we're going to go ahead and add it to the bottom plate and the motherboard. Again, with observation, you can look at your top plate and notice where it's supposed to line up with your motherboard. There's a nice little rectangular space here, and there's more of like a oval shape here at the back, or half an oval. And we're just going to connect that to the rectangular space here on the front. and we see that it matches to the back. And again, we're gonna press down as hard as we can, and we're gonna hear another click. Once you hear that click on all sides, you know that everything is nice and secure once again. And voila. All right, my dear friends, you are now ready for the next step. Now that everything is in place, or mostly everything is in place for our drone, we're gonna go ahead and grab our prop guards. And we have 4 of them. And we're gonna make sure that we put the prop guards over our motors. And similar to what we just did with securing our camera head to our top plate, there's some clicks here on the side. So we want to make sure that we go ahead and put our prop guards onto our motors. So we want to make sure that we go ahead and put our prop guards onto our motors. And when doing so, the bottom part of our prop guards, they're able to squeeze in, they're a bit flexible. And what we do is we can give them a nice little wiggle. And then we wiggle the other way and it goes down in there. Again, once you hear that click, you know it's secure. One thing that I want to take note of, I am pressing down the motors. Once you have your prop guards in place, if you see that your motors are sticking up the way that the remainder 3 are, they can be pressed down a bit more. So I'm just going to each of them and I'm just pressing them down further into place. And now that all motors are nice and flat, we're ready to go ahead and add our propellers. Now, what's important to take note of is just like our wires are diagonal in color on the bottom of our drone, it's going to be the same for our propellers. So on your drone, the bottom plate, there are letters. So we see the letter A here, and diagonal from this letter A, there's another A on the other side. On this side is the letter B, and then diagonal from that B is another letter B. So we want to make sure that when we add those propellers, they match. The reason for that is that our propellers go and move in different directions. So if I added an A next to an A, and it should be a B here, then my drone is not going to operate properly when it's time to take flight. So let's go ahead and grab our propellers. This is A. Now on our propellers, it may say B1, it may say B2. The number itself doesn't matter, but the letter is most important. I'm gonna make sure that we're in diagonal from the other one. Press down. And our very last propeller is A, so we want to make sure that's an A there. And there's only one final step for this here drone, and that is to add in our battery. There's a holder here at the bottom of our drone, and we're gonna place that battery in. If you find that you're putting your battery in and it does not go in all the way, you want to take it out like so, flip it around, and place it back into the holder because it should fit completely all the way. Some drones are extremely sensitive, so if you have the battery out some type of way, it could affect the overall operation of your drone when you take flight. And then the last part is to plug it in, plug your wire into your drone. Now that we have our drone put together, it is time for us to deal with the remote controller. Now, a disclaimer here, when you open up your DIY drone in a box, understand and know that batteries are not included for your remote controller. So you have to make sure that you go out and buy AAA batteries, because otherwise you'd be out of luck. So we're gonna go ahead and unscrew the screw that's inside of our remote controller using our small Phillips screwdriver. Open the latch here, place our batteries in, make sure that they're going in properly. Put the latch back onto the back of our remote. So now that our screw is nicely screwed in to our remote controller, we're gonna go ahead and turn that on just to make sure that we put our batteries in correctly. You heard it beep, right? So we know that our batteries are definitely in correctly. And would you look at that? Look at that. So now we are ready to go ahead and follow the next steps of taking flight. But right now I want to get into the remote controller. So with our remote control, we have the left side of our joystick. The left side here is used to throttle, which just simply means going up or down. So if we move it forward, we're gonna throttle up, so that means our drone is gonna go up in the air. If we move it backwards, throttle down, our drone is gonna go down. If we in fact move this part of the joystick to the left, that is yaw, which simply means that our drone is gonna rotate to the left. And in the opposite way, yaw to the right, our drone is gonna go into the opposite direction. Now for the right side of our drone, for the right side of our joystick, we have pitch forward. Just like in baseball, when you're throwing a ball forward and throwing it back, we're gonna pitch it forward. When we pitch forward, our drone is simply going to move forward. When we pitch back, our drone is gonna move back. If we roll to the left, then that means our drone is gonna move to the left. And if we roll to the right, then our drone is going to move to the right. So now we're just gonna talk about the buttons that are on your remote controller. So B and A are extremely important. B is mainly used to get your propellers going. A is for your emergency stop or your emergency landing. X changes the colors of your lights that are on your drone. And Y is to change the mode or has control over the modes. All of the other buttons are not mainly important, but for the sake of this video, we'll talk about them briefly. So if you have a camera that's connected to the front of your camera holder there, the button that's here on the left side of your drone is mainly for your camera. This button on the right side helps to control if you want to do anything like acrobatics. So if you want to flip and do extra tricks with your drone, the right side is mainly for that. And these 4 arrows help to establish your remote's sensitivity. So I just turned the remote on. We see that the drone is on because it's flashing nice and beautifully. What we want to do before we even take flight is make sure that we are in a safe area, okay? And make sure you yell clear before you take flight. Clear! I think we're ready. So I'm gonna calibrate the remote controller and the drone. So I'm gonna start by using the left side of my joystick to go up and down. And then you see that the lights on the drone stop flashing. That lets me know and lets you know that our remote controller is now connected to our drone. So when we take flight, I am in full control over what takes place with my drone. So just as stated before, we're going to press B to get those propellers going. Wow! That was amazing. So the reason why I felt like that is because I hit the emergency land button, which is A. So if I would have just used my left side of the controller to do throttle down, it would have came down a little slower and it wouldn't have come to such an abrupt stop. But I just wanted to have fun with it, and so that's what I did. But congratulations to you. You made it to the end of this video and the end of our lesson today. You were able to actually put your drone together. For more exciting information and details on all of the wonderful things that we are doing here at the Global Air Drone Academy. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and be sure to hit that notification button so that you can get all the updates on all of our upcoming tutorials. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Peace.